Hello everyone, welcome to Lukman IS. Today we are going to have the Hindu analysis of 28th January 2021. So let us see which are the important articles straight away. So these are the articles. These articles relate to our mains examination, and in the end we have given some prelims pointers from today's The Hindu article, and they are directly relating to our prelims examination. Not the whole article is important for prelims examination. Some of the key words or key terms that can be asked, or the concepts that can be asked in your examination, so we have taken those concepts in the end as a prelims pointer. So let us take overview of these articles first. The first article, editorial, the wrong turn. It is discussing the recent farm protest turning into the violent mob on the Republic Day 26 January in Delhi, and after these, let's say, protest turning into the violent, let's say, riots, we can say that it is being said that the farmers should at present stop this protest and come to the negotiating table with the government. This is what the article is discussing, analyzing the path that the farmers or their leaders need to take after that event. Then the second article, troubling trends. So again, in last 3 days we are discussing that Oxfam report on inequality, right? That virus report, inequality virus report, that has been released by Oxfam, non-profit organization. Again, it is discussing here the kind of inequality we have. Again, it is providing some highlights of that Oxfam report. At the same time, it is also giving some insights into the nature of, let's say, Indian society we have already, and this pandemic has proved one of the reason for increasing such economic inequality in our society. Then comes the third, emphasizing self-reliance in science. Basically, this article is critically evaluating the draft Science and Innovation Policy 2020. Okay, Science and Technology and Innovation Policy 2020. So here in this article we will discuss how this draft is giving the framework of design of that policy. It is in, let's say, public domain for feedback from the common people and expertise academicians, right? So here it is critically evaluating some important points of that draft policy. We will discuss that in that article. And lastly, Supreme Court asked for timeline on appointments. So there is delayed appointments of High Court and Supreme Court judges by the government, present government, and therefore in a frustrating manner the Supreme Court judge, the bench has asked government to give the timeline for appointment of these judges. Okay, so here in this, the collegium system, how it works, the evaluation of collegium system, that we are going to discuss. And in the end we will discuss some important concept related to environment for prelims examination, like what do you mean by keystone species, and we will also talk about the Nilgiri biosphere in the end. Okay, so first article, page number 6 of the Hindu newspaper, a wrong turn. So we have been discussing the farmers protest issue. The economy perspective or agroeconomy perspective has been already discussed in detail, that why the farmers are protesting to repeal these 3 farm laws that have been enacted by the parliament in recent times. At the same time, from polity perspective, there is a need to ensure the stakeholder approach, or we can say that consultation by the central government with various stakeholders in policy formulation for effective policy implementation. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे उस चीज़ की बात हो रही है that the central government needs to consider the views of farmers and state governments for enacting good farm laws that are, let's say, effective on the ground. ठीक है, so here in this first part of the article, it is discussing the events that happened on 26 January in Delhi, how this farm protest or the rally, tractor rally, turned into a violent rally, we can say that, and we can understand that some of the antisocial elements may have infiltrated this rally and caused violence because of that. Surely the farmers leaders were of the view that they did not what you can say provocate or emphasize on any kind of violent protest at that time. Okay, So basically here that cannot be let's say validated, or the violence is not the solution. Surely our constitution provide for fundamental rights to assemble, association, at the same time freedom of speech and expression is there. So we can understand that protesting, peaceful protest is the fundamental rights of the people. However, when there is violence in such peaceful protest, that is not acceptable. ठीक है, तो because we know that the freedom under article 19 of Indian constitution, this is not absolute. Article 19, there are various freedom, right to freedoms, ठीक है, the freedom of speech and expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of association, freedom of movement, it is given there. But surely these freedoms have some restrictions like public order, security of the nation, friendly relations with the other countries, foreign countries. So basically here when there is violence in the peaceful protest, that is not acceptable. Okay, so the leaders of these farm protests, they need to accept the responsibility here. At the same time, what should be the way forward here for those farm protesters or farmers protesters? Basically they need to come at the negotiating table to the central government or with the central government, because central government still accept that they are ready to negotiate with the farm leaders or farmers leaders. Okay, so that's why they need to, let's say, tone down their demands now, the kind of rigid stand they have been taking to repeal the laws. ठीक है, at the same time, if the government is not ready to concede their demands, okay, or tone down demands, water down demands, then in future they can also think of again protesting. ठीक है, so basically at present the situation is that their stand is weakened because of such violence that has happened, and they, at the same time, negotiation should happen or happens effectively when both parties are willing to concede their demands. ठीक है, तो उसी को हम negotiation बोलते हैं, right? At the same time, central government is having the positive approach towards, let's say, discussing the demands of the farmers. So that's why they need to, let's say, discontinue the protest for now and disperse, while reserving the option for restarting it later. At the same time, central government must consider or provide more concessions to the farmers. ठीक है, तो ज़्यादा उनको concessions देने चाहिए. अभी right now the central government has accepted that it is ready to hold the implementation of these laws for next 18 months. But instead of 18 months, it should assure the farmers that whatever the laws they can redraft in future, the farmers as well as state governments view, their opinions will be taken into consideration. ये एक assurance उनको देना चाहिए, right? So center's imperious refusal to engage with political parties and state governments on critical question of agriculture reforms has come back to haunt it. So in the end, we can say that as a solution measure, the central government should come forward to negotiate with all stakeholders and consider their opinions, their, let's say, stand also. ठीक है, तो ये हम इसमें बोल सकते हैं as a follow up to these farmers protests that are going on in Delhi. So आपको ये polity and governance के with respect to देखना चाहिए article. Next, troubling trends. Yes, so recently the Oxfam has released the title of the report, Inequality Virus Report. Inequality Virus Report 2020. So for this year, the annual report of this Oxfam non-profit organization, basically the focus of this Oxfam organization is emphasizing, highlighting the kind of economic inequality that our society has. ठीक है, तो उसके ऊपर हमेशा उनका फोकस होता है, and these are good policy inputs. The data that is found in this, let's say, reports, that is very important for policy formulation, policy inputs, and in general analysis by academicians and experts. Okay, so what the article is providing here, it is saying that, or the argument here is that though the world economy is on the recovery path, or including Indian economy, but this economic recovery is unequal. Okay, unequal among the countries and within the country. ठीक है, तो जैसे हम देखते हैं कि many countries like China or India, they are recovering at the faster rate as compared to some of the European nations or even USA. At the same time, we have to understand within the countries the unequal path of recovery. जैसे हम इंडिया में ही देखते हैं तो ये अनइक्वल है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल दोज हु आर वेल्दी पीपल हु हैव एस्केप्ड द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ दिस कोविड-19 सक्सेसफुली, they are recovering from this pandemic or the lockdown period, lowering of economic activities during that time period at very fast rate. They are recovering at very fast rate, while the poor people, those below poverty people households, that they will take, let's say, many years to recover from this loss. ठीक है, तो इसको हम बोल सकते हैं कि this is being highlighted by this Oxfam report through various, let's say, facts here, like additional wealth acquired by India's 100 billionaires since March when the lockdown was imposed is enough to give everyone 138 million poorest 94,000 rupees according to Oxfam report. At the same time, an unskilled worker in India would take 3 years to earn what the country's richest person earned in 1 second last year, the report calculates. The kind of inequality that we have in India. Try to mention these facts in your answer, in your essay paper. So there can be essay paper, almost every year there will be essay on inclusive growth and development, directly or indirectly. There will be surely one topic that relates to inclusive growth or development, ठीक है, इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड. तो उसमें आपने ये जरूर मेंशन करना चाहिए. और रिसेंट डेटा, ठीक है, हमेशा जब आप आंसर में लिखते हो तो कभी भी रिसेंट डेटा एंड फैक्ट्स लिखने चाहिए फ्रॉम the recently released reports. So be it Oxfam report, be it Global Hunger Index report, Human Development report, or World Bank reports, IMF reports या World Economic Forum के कुछ reports होते हैं. So recent reports के facts लिखिए, ठीक है. अगर आप 2021 के मेंस एग्जाम लिखने वाले हो तो 2019 या 18 के facts नहीं लिखने चाहिए. At max you can write the 2020 जो जो अभी देख रहे हैं उस रिपोर्ट के आप हाइलाइट्स लिखने चाहिए. फाइन. एट द सेम टाइम दिस रिपोर्ट इज हाइलाइटिंग द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ पैंडेमिक, कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक, दैट बिकम्स वेरी स्पेशल. ठीक है, तो ये आप जरूर देख सकते हैं. यस्टरडे इटसेल्फ वी हैड डिस्कस्ड one question in 2020 men's examination GS1 paper. It directly asked the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on increasing class inequality and poverty in India. ठीक है, तो basically rich poor divide is increasing. So in such kind of questions you can mention these arguments and data. Okay, and in the end we can also talk about that when we have this economic recovery path now, there will be sure more focus given on economic growth and less on environment protection. And because of that, what will happen is there will be more and more environment degradation. Okay, so environment cost associated with this unsustainable economic growth, that is also important factor, because the environmental loss or environmental degradation has a disproportionate impact on poor and marginalized sections. ठीक है, तो women है या poor people है, aged people है, air pollution का impact किस पे ज़्यादा होता है? एजेड पीपल पे, चिल्ड्रन पे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट होता है, राइट. सो अगर वाटर का स्कैरसिटी ज़्यादा होता है, ठीक है, तो उसका सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट जो है विमेन पे होता है, राइट. सो these facts we have to understand, and the more inequality we have in our society, the disproportionate impact of that inequality happens on the basis of because of, let's say, on certain sections, like we can say that the gendered impact of on the women, or we can say that the caste discrimination that happens on the lower caste, or certain minority religions or racial discrimination that happens. because certainly this rich poor divide is making the fractures or highlighting the fractures in our society. This pandemic has highlighted the fractures in our society. जो हमारे सेक्रेटरी जनरल है यूएन के, उन्होंने ये स्टेटमेंट कहा है, राइट. yesterday we talked about this statement, right. So in the end we can say that the lip service in terms of economic policy and boost to the economy, this is not sufficient. Actual actions on the ground, implementation of these effective policies on the ground is very much important, both for Indian government or at the world level in different countries. Okay, so that's why we can understand here. In conclusion, we can say that the sustainable economic growth and development, which includes the environment protection and conservation also. So in this manner you can talk about society, social justice, जो GS3 में जो आप sustainable development, inclusive growth की बात करते हो, that comes under this let's say article, relevant to this article, at the same time essay paper. Fine? Yes. Moving on to next, emphasizing self-reliance in science. Okay. So here in this article, it is talking about science, draft science, technology and innovation policy 2020 that has been released by the government and it is in public domain. The draft, it is providing a framework that what kind of policy that we need to have, and it is open for public feedback at present. So the writer is critically evaluating this policy on various parameters, on the basis of various parameters. For example, funding, the governance model for science and technology, or we can say research and development framework, the governance in that aspect. At the same time, it is also talking about the discriminations or inclusiveness in the science and technology field or research and development field. And in the end, it is also talking about the development of scientific temper, humanism and the spirit of inquiry among the common people. These are the objectives of the draft policy. However, how to achieve these objectives, there is some concern associated with this policy. The policy is not giving the clear guidelines on how to achieve this, because in reality it is talking, the situation is very different or far away from the objectives that it is talking about. For example, first, the funding problem. Okay, at present the investment in the research and development in the country is almost only about 0.5 to 0.6% of the GDP of the country, and the policy emphasizes on more and more funding from the private sector in research and development. Okay, and this is not feasible. Okay, why it is not feasible? Because the investment in basic research and development should come from the public, or we can say that public enterprises, or we can say government, and not private, because private will not be, let's say, having any incentives to invest in the basic research, we can say that, because that is not directly implemented as a technology innovations in the industry. So that's why they will not be incentivized to invest in such kind of research, and therefore it is the role of the government to have more increased funding in research and development. This is first aspect. The second aspect, it is talking about the governance. It is saying that the objective of the policy is to balance the top down and bottom up approach in the governance model. At the same time, it wants to optimize and reduce the hurdles in the research and development process in the country. So it wants to reduce the bureaucratization basically. However, the policy itself or the policy document itself negate this objective. How? Because it seeks to establish various institutions, centers, research organizations. Basically, it is increasing the bureaucratization. Okay, so policy document itself negates its own objective. Highlights of this policy, basically there is problem in the governance model in the country. There is more and more bureaucratization in the research field or science and technology field. This is not good for दिस फील्ड, ठीक है, वहाँ पे कम से कम जो है वो इंटरफेरेंस होना चाहिए गवर्नमेंट का रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में, राइट. सो दिस इज द critical evaluation from the governance parameter. Then comes the inclusiveness. One of the objective of this policy is that it wants to eliminate the discrimination in the science and technology or research and development field on the basis of let's say caste, gender, religion, race and all these things. However, in reality what we see here, it is providing some good facts. It was reported in 2019 that more than 2,400 students dropped out of IITs in just 2 years, with over half of them belonging to SC, ST category and OBC categories. Okay. The number of suicides of students also on the increase in IITs. Caste discrimination could be one of these reasons for the tendency. ऐसा बोला जाता है कि caste discrimination in those institutions is more, and because of that the suicides or the dropout rates among let's say the students belonging to these castes is more. So how this policy wants to eliminate or seeks to eliminate this discrimination, this is not clear. Okay. So, and lastly it is also talking about the developing scientific temper. So surely this develop scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry, this is our fundamental duty also. You need to know that under Article 51A of Indian Constitution, the fundamental duties were added through Constitutional Amendment Act, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976 on the recommendation of Saran Singh Committee. ठीक है, तो ये जो fundamental duties है, among these fundamental duties, one of the fundamental duties of the citizens of India is to develop the scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. Okay, so the policy also seeks to develop this or ensure this spirit of inquiry among the people. However, how this will be implemented, again that is not clear, because at present the trend that we are seeing in the country, the kind of irrational, let's say, policy initiatives or the decisions by the politicians or the attempts to mute the scientific let's say data or scientific established facts that are happening. At the same time, some of the, let's say, initiatives by the government institutions itself, for example, it is also giving the example like proposal by Rashtriya Kamdhenu Ayog to conduct national examination under the garb of cow science. Now somehow it negates the scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. So such kind of trends are not healthy, and if they continue, this objective of this policy will not be achieved. So basically only the dissenting mind can think out of box. So this is very important in science and technology, right? So in the end we can let's say conclude here after this critical evaluation that the kind of disruptive technologies that we are experiencing on the eve of this 21st century, we can say that industrial revolution 4.0 जिसको बोलते हैं, right? So disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain technology is there. So these machine learning is there, robotics is there. So all these technologies are disruptive in nature. They are going to change the economy or the society, the functioning of economy and society throughout the world within very short period of time. And in such times, we need to achieve these objectives of whatever the objective stated under this draft science and technology and innovation policies. Okay, and for that purpose, the government must ensure the funding, adequate funding in research and development. ठीक है, कभी भी देखो आप, पहला पॉइंट जो है, जब भी ये इशू आता है रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट का कि हमारे कंट्री में क्यों अच्छा नहीं है, तो ये जो उनको जो फेवरेबल एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए वो हमारे कंट्री में नहीं मिलता, एंड दैट्स व्हाई मेनी ऑफ द रिसर्चर्स, साइंटिस्ट मूव आउट ऑफ द कंट्री, दे सीक द सिटीजनशिप ऑफ अदर कंट्रीज, बिकॉज especially developed countries, western countries, there the kind of environment they receive for their research and development, there is no interference by the politicians or administration, and enough funding is given for their research. There is scope for failure. ठीक है, ये सारी चीजें हैं वहां पे, and that's why the more and more innovations are happening in those countries. Especially the Indian origin researchers are more we can say active in those countries. ठीक है, तो हम देखते हैं कि one of the main objective of this policy is to retain those minds, scientific minds in the country itself by providing enough funding, enough good environment for their research and development. Fine. So for GS3 science and technology, for GS2 governance in general, and there can be essay topic on research and development. तो आप ये सारे arguments लिख सकते हो पॉलिसी से. ठीक है, इससे पहले जो एग्जिस्टिंग पॉलिसी जो है वो है 2013 की. ठीक है, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इनोवेशन पॉलिसी ऑफ 2013. दिस इज इन प्लेस एट प्रेजेंट, एंड द गवर्नमेंट वांट्स टू improve over this policy now. Next article. Supreme Court asks for timeline on appointments. So here the context of the article, that the Supreme Court, a bench of Chief Justice of India and Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul and Surya Kant, asked center if there was timeline for government clearance of such recommendations by, let's say, collegium. ठीक है, तो whatever the recommendations that are given by collegium, Supreme Court collegium, for appointments and transfers of High Court judges, so whether there is any timeline for that, the bench is asking to the central government. There are many such vacancies, and almost all the on an average the high courts are functioning only with half of their sanctioned strength. It is also providing good fact that 189 proposals for judicial appointments are still pending in higher judiciary. You need to mention that whenever the question is talking about let's say judicial appointments, delay in judicial appointments is one of the factor for, or one of the, let's say, aspect of judicial reforms. ठीक है, सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट द बेसिक्स ऑफ कोलेजियम सिस्टम, ठीक है, तो ये टॉपिक हमारा अभी तक डिस्कस नहीं हुआ है. सो द कॉन्टेक्स्ट इज गुड हियर, देयरफॉर वी विल डिस्कस दिस. सो द कोलेजियम सिस्टम, it is not mentioned in our constitution. You need to know that. Okay, so अभी आजकल ऐसे क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे हैं प्रीलिम्स में कि whether the particular, let's say, system कोलेजियम, ऐसे एक स्टेटमेंट आ सकता है, इट इज मेंशन्ड इन आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट्स आर करेक्ट. तो उसमें एक लिखते हैं कि वो कोलेजियम सिस्टम इज मेंशन्ड इन आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. ठीक है, तो ऐसे आपको ये चीज पता होनी चाहिए कि इट इज नॉट मेंशन्ड इन आवर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, रादर इट इज इवॉल्व थ्रू 3 जजेस केसेस. जजेस केसेस जिसको बोला जाता है, दिस इज गिवन इन एम लक्ष्मीकांत इन डिटेल. But here we will discuss briefly about these judges cases. But before that, what is collegium? Collegium constitutes of Chief Justice of India and 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court, and they are responsible for recommendation of transfer and appointments of High Court and Supreme Court judges. ठीक है, मैं फिर से रिपीट करता हूँ that the collegium consists of Chief Justice of India and 4 senior most judges of Supreme Court, who are responsible for recommendation of the appointments of judges and transfer of judges to the high courts and Supreme Court. ठीक है, तो ये हुआ कोलेजियम. अब ये इवोल्यूशन कैसे हुआ? It started with the first judges case, and in first judges case 1981, also called as SP Gupta case. So in this case, the Supreme Court said that it is the prerogative of executive to appoint the judges. It is not the, let's say, the power shifted from judiciary to basically executive. The president can appoint the recommendation given by the Chief Justice of India. However, the executive, that is president, can deny the appointment of the person that is recommended by the Chief Justice of India. तो ये पावर्स जो है वो एग्जीक्यूटिव को ज्यादा दिए गए थे, ठीक है, रिकॉग्नाइज किए गए थे इन फर्स्ट जजेस केस. बट लेटर ऑन इन सेकंड जजेस केस इन 1993 this was reversed and the powers came back to the Chief Justice of India, and it was compulsory on behalf of President to appoint the person that is recommended by Chief Justice of India. However, the process somehow evolved, a broader process evolved here of consultation. Now what is that? That the Chief Justice of India will give the recommendation, but such recommendation will come after the consultation with two senior most judges. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि CJI only need to consult two senior most judges, and then he can give the recommendation of that person for appointment or transfer. Okay. After this case, in third judges case, ठीक है, तो थर्ड जजेस केस 1998 आफ्टर ऑन रेफरेंस फ्रॉम द फॉर्मर प्रेसिडेंट KR Narayanan, सुप्रीम कोर्ट laid down some guidelines here, and guidelines in a sense that CJI should consult with plurality of 4 senior most Supreme Court judges before recommending the name for appointment or transfer of, okay, 4 senior most judges, and this is the system, this is the collegium system that is at present in place. Now in 2015 the executive, that is the government, tried to bring changes in this appointment procedure that is evolved by the judiciary itself. और वो क्या था? Through National Judicial Appointments Commission Act 2015. ठीक है. Now this National Judicial Appointment Act seeks to establish National Judicial Appointment Commission, which had representation from both judiciary as well as executive, and somehow the powers were balanced here on behalf of let's say from executive and judiciary, and there this is somehow the judiciary saw this as the encroachment on the powers and independence of judiciary, ठीक है, and therefore it invalidated and said this act as a null and void in, we can say, the striking off of 99th Constitutional Amendment Act 2015. This case is also called as fourth judges case, ठीक है, ये 3 judges case के बाद ये इसको 4th judges case भी बोला जाता है. So now this is unconstitutional, this act was, or the law was considered or struck down and said unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, and the system that was in place put in third judges case, this is continued, the collegium system, okay, the CJI and 4 senior most judges, ठीक है. However, we have to understand that it was decided in this third judges case that any candidate has to be supported by majority of the collegium. That means if any 2 judges among those 4 judges gives adverse opinion on the name or the candidate, then the CJI should not recommend the name of that person for appointment or transfer. ये आपको पता होना चाहिए, right? So these are the basics about collegium system, evolution of collegium system. The details are also given in M. Lakshmikant on this evolution or origin of collegium system, so you can refer to that book also. On basis of whatever the discussion we have had, you can attempt the question for prelims examination as well as mains examination. You can take input here. Fine? Okay. Moving on. Prelims pointers. So there was one concept in one of the article, keystone species. So it was basically talking about the elephant corridor, one article, and in that Supreme Court has said that elephant is one of the keystone species and we need to protect them. तो ये keystone species होते क्या है? It is important concept in environment and ecology. There can be question in prelims examination. So what do you mean by keystone species? Keystone species are those important species in any ecosystem which are very let's say, though they are less in number, but they have disproportionate impact on the other members of ecosystem. ठीक है। तो जैसे कि फॉर एग्जांपल टाइगर्स, ओके, नाउ जो कार्निवोर्स होते हैं, जो वन ऑफ द एग्जांपल इज टाइगर, दे कीप द पॉपुलेशन ऑफ हर्बीवोर्स इन चेक, and because of that, suppose for example the tiger population is wiped out, what will happen is the population of herbivores will increase, and these herbivores will wipe out the particular species of plants, ठीक है, जो grass का होगा या particular species होगा plant का dominant species, it will be removed by these herbivores, disproportionate increase होगा वो herbivores का. So that's why in food chain it needs to maintain the balance, and this balance is maintained in any ecosystem by the keystone species. These keystone species are very much important. Generally they are on the higher order in that food chain. Also we have to understand that if these keystone species are removed from the ecosystem, the complete ecosystem can be wiped out, ठीक है, from the particular place. तो इसलिए हम देखो फोकस करते हैं कि प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ टाइगर्स, प्रोटेक्शन टू द लायंस, प्रोटेक्शन टू द एलिफेंट्स, प्रोटेक्शन टू इवन वी कैन से द अदर लेट्स से कार्निवोर्स लाइक लेपर्ड्स और स्नो लेपर्ड्स, जो हमारा प्रोजेक्ट है, प्रोजेक्ट स्नो लेपर्ड जो है, या फिर अगर एक्वेटिक सिस्टम की बात करते हैं तो हम घड़ियाल की बात करते हैं, प्रोजेक्ट घड़ियाल है, ठीक है। तो हमें कीस्टोन स्पेसीज को पर्टिकुलर इकोसिस्टम को सिस्टम के लिए बचाना बहुत जरूरी है, उनका प्रोटेक्शन करना बहुत जरूरी है, एंड फॉर दैट पर्पस द गवर्नमेंट हैज मेनी लेट्स से मेजर्स अंडरटेकन, ठीक है। सो फॉर एग्जांपल टाइगर रिजर्व्स आर अनाउंस्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, created by the government, elephant corridors are created by the government, projects let's say lion is there, project snow leopard is there, ठीक है। तो ये सारे जो प्रोजेक्ट्स होते हैं फॉर प्रोटेक्शन एंड कंजर्वेशन, एट द सेम टाइम दे आर प्रोवाइडेड विद द हाईएस्ट लीगल प्रोटेक्शन अंडर वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट 1972, ठीक है। सो दिस वाज अबाउट कीस्टोन स्पेसीज, दिस कंसेप्ट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. देन कम्स again in the same article it was mentioned about Nilgiri biosphere, because that elephant corridor was part of this Nilgiri biosphere. Now some basics about Nilgiri biosphere you need to know about, that it is the largest protected area in the country, Nilgiri biosphere, ठीक है. At the same time you have to understand the sub unit of this Nilgiri biosphere was declared as World Heritage Site by UNESCO in 2012. This part of Western Ghat or the protected forest, protected reserve of the Western Ghat spreads across three states, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, Nilgiri biosphere. At the same time we have to understand the nature of forest that we can see there, largely the tropical montane forest. At the same time we can see evergreen forest and deciduous forest, ठीक है. तो ये wet deciduous forest जो बोलते हैं, तो वो तीनों टाइप के फॉरेस्ट वहां पे है. Along with that we have to understand the protected areas included in this biosphere reserve. Why? So before going into that, you can see here what kind of questions are asked in UPSC prelims examination. This is very important. Whatever the preparation that we are doing, it needs to be pinpointed and guided in the proper direction. See here, in 2019 the MCQ that was asked, which of the following are in Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve, ठीक है. तो ये अगस्त्यमलाई बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व में ये प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज कौन से हैं, तो ये पूछा गया था इसमें अगस्त्यमलाई बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व. नाउ वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट especially from the southern states and northeastern states, the biosphere reserves, these biosphere reserves and protected areas, as a similar kind of question that can be asked for Nilgiri biosphere or Simlipal biosphere or those biosphere like Nokrek biosphere is there in northeast India. तो वहां पे कौन से protected areas included है वो हमें पता होना चाहिए. Now we are looking into Nilgiri biosphere. अब यहाँ पे देखिए ये वन ऑफ द ऑप्शन क्या है दिख रहा है आपको, मुदुमलाई, सत्यमंगलम, वायनाड वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी एंड साइलेंट वैली पार्क. अब ये जो ऑप्शन है वो एलिमिनेट कैसे हो जाएगा, आप यहाँ पे देख सकते हो. द प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज इंक्लूडेड इन नीलगिरी बायोस्फीयर, the Silent Valley National Park or Mudumalai Wildlife Sanctuary, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary, it is part of नीलगिरी बायोस्फीयर। ठीक है, तो नीलगिरी बायोस्फीयर जो है वो, अगर हम ये साउदर्न पार्ट देखते हैं इंडिया का, तो नीलगिरी बायोस्फीयर जो है यहाँ पे है, ट्राई जंक्शन ऑफ कर्नाटका, तमिलनाडु एंड केरला। बट अगस्त्यमलाई बायोस्फीयर इज लोकेटेड हियर, we can say that in Kerala and some part of we can say Tamil Nadu। तो ये साउथ में है उसके काफी, अगस्त्यमलाई बायोस्फीयर, अगस्त्यमलाई हिल्स जो है तो वो साउथ में आता है, नीलगिरी जो है यहाँ पे आता है, जंक्शन ऑफ दीज 3 स्टेट्स। ओके, सो वी नीड टू नो अबाउट द प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज। सो साइलेंट वैली नेशनल पार्क, मुकुर्ती नेशनल पार्क, बंदीपुर नगलहोर टाइगर रिजर्व। ये बंदीपुर टाइगर रिजर्व हमेशा न्यूज में होता है, ठीक है, जैसे कि वो जो हाईवे जो है बंदीपुर टाइगर रिजर्व से पास होता है, दैट हाईवे इज ऑलवेज इन न्यूज, जिसको रात को वहां से ट्रैवल अलाउड नहीं है। मुदुमलाई वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी इज देयर, मुदुमलाई टाइगर रिजर्व इज ऑल्सो देयर, सत्यमंगलम टाइगर रिजर्व इज ऑल्सो देयर। देन वायनाड वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी, ये भी बहुत न्यूज में रहता है। देखो अभी रिसेंटली हमने डिस्कस किया था वायनाड वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी, ठीक है, जो मैन एनिमल कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के लिए अभी न्यूज में है, टाइगर के लिए, ठीक है। तो वायनाड वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी इज ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट। सो इन दिस मैनर वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हेनेवर द क्वेश्चन इज अबाउट एनी प्रोटेक्टेड एरिया और बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, व्हाट वी नीड टू स्टडी। इसके बारे में आप अगर सिंपली विकिपीडिया भी खोलोगे तो बहुत सारी इंफॉर्मेशन मिलेगी, बट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन विल बी आस्क्ड इन योर एग्जामिनेशन, वो हमारे लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है। एंड देयरफॉर पिन पॉइंटेड प्रिपरेशन। एट द सेम टाइम ऐसा क्वेश्चन अभी तक पूछा नहीं है बट पूछ सकते हैं, जैसे ये प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज पूछा है तो ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स भी पूछ सकते हैं, राइट। सो ट्राइबल ग्रुप्स इन नीलगिरी बायोस्फीयर लाइक बडागास, टोडास, they are always in news, one of the let's say backward tribal community। and यहाँ पे जो है कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट्स काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है टोडास के। कोटास, इरुलास इज ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट, कुरुम्बास, पानियास, आदियान्स, इदानादन, चट्टीस, अल्लार्स, मलयन। सो बेसिकली these are native to this नीलगिरी बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व। तो ऐसा भी क्वेश्चन बन सकता है, यहाँ पे उन्होंने प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज पूछा है, नेक्स्ट ईयर आपको वो ट्राइबल पीपल जो है नेटिव टू पर्टिकुलर बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, ऐसे पूछ सकते हैं। फाइन, सो यू कैन टेक इनपुट फ्रॉम दिस फॉर प्रीलिम्स एग्जामिनेशन। Okay, so these were articles from today's The Hindu newspaper relevant to our examination, prelims as well as mains. For further information on editorial discussion or ED classes wherein in-depth analysis of mains related issues and articles is done by Ansari sir and team, the new batch is going to start this week itself. To enroll to that batch, you can contact Lukman IAS. Thank you.